for joining me. Do you want to start by introducing yourself, your name, your role, and which workplace you represent?
Sure. My name's John Preece. I'm the COO at Hub Australia. I've been here for almost 8 years to the day now. And the specific workspace is Hub Elizabeth Quay, which is at 9 the Esplanade in Perth.
And can you tell us why you decided to apply for this award and why winning is important to you?
Um, I think first up, look, we're big supporters of the FWA. Our CEO and our founder, Brett Krauskopf, was one of the founders of the FWA as well. And of course, annual awards are huge for any industry body, and ours is no different. The awards are a significant part of that, but the awards are only a success if plenty of people enter them and take them, really seriously each year. So, look, fundamentally, we want to support the FWA and be part of the awards. Of course, it's always nice to win something. We thought we'd created something really beautiful at Hub Elizabeth Quay. Also, I know that there were heaps of other entrants in there, and I don't know who they were, but I know that Liberty had a really good space in Perth as well. So the competition was pretty stiff. So to win amongst all the amazing operators in Australia is fabulous, and it kind of validates what we thought about Hub Elizabeth Quay. But fundamentally, we want to make sure that we're supporting the awards holistically in FWA. So winning's amazing, but yeah, just making sure that we're in the mix and supporting the FWA is the most important thing.
Yeah. Have you done anything different with your from a design perspective at Hub Elizabeth Quay, or things like that make it stand out compared to other spaces?
Yeah, so when we're doing the design for any of our locations, whilst functionally there are certain amenities that we want to build in, so the customers that use our portfolio, they've got familiarity with the breadth of amenities and that there is consistency there. We actually actively stay away from having a consistent design aesthetic because each location, each customer base, each city, the location within the city all influence what you need to do in the design. So the design, for example, of a customs house here in Sydney, beautiful state heritage building on Circular Quay is very different from a shiny glass new Brookfield development on the edge of Elizabeth Quay in Perth. So we need to make sure we respect, the locality, the development we're going into, what we want to achieve with that particular space for the customer base, and also then weaving in elements of, the location into that design so it has relevance beyond just being a flexible workspace. So Elizabeth Quay, there were some specific things. The local cultural heritage, that area in Perth on the edge of the Swan River has cultural significance. So we wanted to make sure that we embedded that into the design. We also had a relationship with the developer Brookfield here, where we were providing a whole range of amenities, business lounge, cafe, bar, service minute spaces for the whole building. So we needed to lean into how we could do that for both the flex space customers and the entire development. And indeed, Brookfield owns other buildings in that precinct. So it's kind of a precinct business lounge play there as well. And of course, look, we're a hospitality business. So making sure that the design had hospitality in mind at every single touch point, and it wasn't just another physical thing, but that physical thing had a role to play in the hospitality service. So yeah, look, a number of different threads there. Probably consistent to a lot of operators, but yeah, just making sure that we were doing a one size fits all plug and play, kind of drop in what we did last time around, because that sort of stymies your evolution of your design.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is there any initiative or anything that are very unique to Elizabeth Quay?
Very unique to Elizabeth Quay. Look, yes, there is. The whole level one space we have Elizabeth Quay, so the entirety of level one is that shared amenity. Now we've got other business lounges where other tenants in the building use those. This was designed, from literally development, because it's a brand new development designed for that to be a precinct and all tenant play. It's fairly big as a shared amenity. It's about 800 square meters. So to have the ability to have a lounge service meeting space, bar, cafe area of that scale in a co-working space is pretty unique. Of course, that's because it's a shared amenity with the building. So it's fabulous. And the aspect from that over the Swan River is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. And what are you planning next, either in this building or are you like open? Like, I know you're opening a new space soon. Like, is there anything like unique, or are you gonna in that new space or in any other spaces you're planning to open soon?
I think the key for us is because none of our designs are one size fits all. Like they're all designed unique for the buildings in which they go. So every time we evolve the aesthetic of the design, and each time we try and evolve what the amenity looks like as well. So is there something unique? Yes, every new site has something unique about it, and that's really important. So each site has its own personality. As to what that is for the next site, well, the next site we'll open is another one in Perth. It's at 125 St George's Terrace. It's about twice the size of Hub Elizabeth Quay, so it's a big location, and there are lots of unique features in that one because part of that space is actually designed for the anchor tenant in the building, which in this instance is BHP and their flexible work requirements. We've got shared amenity, meeting event spaces, business lounge. I mentioned Elizabeth Quay was large at 800 square meters. This one has 2,000 square meters of those amenities. And there's a stunning rooftop terrace in there as well of about 1,500 square meters. So lots of features in that one, but that's partly due to its scale and the uniqueness of the relationship with Brookfield and its anchor tenant BHP and all of the components we had to pull together for those tenants as well as the flex space.
Yeah. And for anyone who is like starting or any operator, do you have any advice or tips like to be successful when you're designing a space?
Yeah. Look, I think the important thing is don't just try and replicate what someone else has done and think that that will work for you and your customers. If you have again the one size fits all, we don't even do it within our portfolio, and we wouldn't dream of doing that across multiple different brands and operators. So don't go for one size fits all. Design something that's unique that meets the needs of your members, your customers, and the space. And the last component would be sweat the small stuff. People would really dismissive and say, don't sweat the small stuff on the design pieces. Absolutely sweat the small stuff because the design features are in the details. And that's where you've really got to focus a lot of energy.
Yeah. From your perspective, what's the next big thing in the co-working industry? Next big shift, development?
I I think I'm a bit of a broken record on this one. I think the biggest challenge our sector has is also the biggest opportunity that we've got moving forward. So the sector needs to mature as an industry. It's a sector at the moment and it's a bit quirky and it's fun, but we need to mature as an industry and actually become an investable asset class. At the moment, that's a bit of a struggle, and I know that there's been some transactions in our sector where there's an indication that investors are interested, but there's always been some quirks to those investments. So the sector needs to mature, but in order to do that, we need to become far more transparent and robust with data. So sharing data. If I look at the hotel sector, for example, an investor in hotels can go pay a fee and get really reliable third-party verified data on almost any hotel in the world. And that's incredible. So they know what they're investing in. They know what the benchmarks are in the sector. So if they're investing in a hotel in Perth CBD of 4-star standard, they can absolutely get benchmark data around that. In our industry, we're just not mature. It's not a criticism. We just haven't matured to that level yet. But that's where we need to get to in order, A, to be taken seriously by institutional landlords and investors, and B, to really unlock the capital that we need to grow and flourish as an industry. It's difficult to do what we do without capital. Our fit outs are expensive. When you start a new site, you need to ramp it up. There's working capital you've got to put in there, and that's hard. But of course, to get capital, you need investors. So it's kind of a circular argument. But yeah, that maturing is partly time, yes, but it's more significantly in us as operators and as a sector being transparent and having robust data is verified by third parties and can be relied upon.
Yeah. And on that note, we are both working with Urbis at the moment to have
Exactly.
an independent party to collect that data from big operators, and there is a big push, and I'm hoping the next FWA report will have some data, or at least a starting point, so we can start collecting, start showing, yeah, that data and transparency we need to mature. Um,
Completely agree.
what are your hope for the co-working sector apart from that transparency and maturing? Like, is there any other trends you're seeing?
Look, what I've just said would be the major one. If I step aside of that, in Australia, the footprint of flexible workspace in Australia is still really small. Depends whose reports you read, but it's about 3% of office stock. If you look at some of the other global markets like London, 10 to 12%, some of the markets in Asia, up to 15, 20%. So that's exciting because there's a long runway for us in Australia. Equally, not one or two operators can develop that scale. So getting more operators into the Australian market is going to be important to build credibility, to build variance in the product offering, for want of a better term, so that you do get this sort of profile like hotels, that there is the one-star budget model for those who don't need or don't want something more expensive. There's a five-star model for those who want something flashy. And importantly, there's everything in between. So again, it kind of comes back to the evolution of the sector, the maturing of it. But ironically, as an operator, wanting more competition sounds counterintuitive, but it's actually good for the industry because it will allow us to mature and grow.
Yeah. And last question, have you shown your award?
Shortly, by the time this gets reported, absolutely. So I have it at home, and I'm in Perth in 2 weeks' time. And when I fly to Perth, it will be coming with me. It's very heavy, but it'll be coming with me, and I'll be going in the business lounge at Hub Elizabeth Quay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for meeting with me today. And yeah, it was great to see you.